Hey everyone, welcome back to another software developer profile review. Before I start, my name's David. I've been a software developer for 20 something years. I've also ran international recruitment teams. I've seen every mistake you can make, and I want to show you what recruiters see when they look at your profile. I do this as a free thing. If you would like to have a profile review, there'll be a link down in the description. But also, I obviously have a course and a book and all those sorts of things which you can find on my website here. There's an intensive 4-week course where I teach you all these things and give you access to me, and we talk about these things in Q&A sessions. There's videos, there's full support and access to a private group where I teach more about the course every day. But also there's a book and a video course if you want to do self-studying on your own. The main thing I wanted to point out here is there is a free careers Q&A session every week, every Friday at 3 p.m. UK time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're more than welcome to join that. Just click this button over here, the big yellow one, Careers Beers as I call it. Obviously you're free to speak to me on any of the social links that are available on there. But let's get on with the review. Today we have, here I go with names, Ebimene, Ebimene. I'm going to go with Ebimene. I apologise in advance if I am butchering your name. Ebimene, who described themselves as, it was a JavaScript developer. There was Node, React, TypeScript, those things. I think it was Nest.js as well. So, as always, banner image is the first thing I look at. Gives me an indication you're a coder, but doesn't really help seal the deal. You could use that space to better use. Good profile picture. Software engineer at Napa. JavaScript, React, and TypeScript. Makes me think you're a front-end dev rather than a full-stack dev. Maybe you are now, I don't know. Anyway, but at least it's JavaScript and TypeScript, so there's a chance you could be full stack. Then I go to the About section. Reliable, detail-oriented. In fact, I'm going to read this as a recruiter would read it. Reliable, detail-oriented, blah, 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 blah. I for design. Do I believe you? I'm not being harsh. I'm just... these are the things that people say. Focused on creating quality code. Receiving valuable constructive feedback during code reviews. It's all light and fluffy. There's no real value here. You're not telling me what you want, what you can do, what you're passionate about in terms of actual tech. It's all just the light, soft skill side of things, which is not bad, but I'd rather you hit me with the value, because if I'm a recruiter who's in a hurry, I want to know you're the right candidate. Should I keep this tab open? Because when someone applies to a job, there's usually thousands of applicants, and I'll open up like 10 LinkedIn profiles in a row, and I'm just trying to find a reason to close them. Like, imagine you Google something, you open up 5 or 10 links, close, until you get down to the ones that you're going to read more in depth. So I'm scanning this as a recruiter. So I've got to click See More to find any value. So having a good knowledge of HTML and CSS, JavaScript, so this is obviously where the value is for you, and so I put this paragraph first. For me, when people start off with saying HTML and CSS, it's kind of a real red flag that you're very junior. I know everyone has to be junior at some stage. What I mean is, once you become more accomplished, most people don't even mention HTML and CSS. They kind of just take it as a given. So let's carry on. So frameworks such as React, React Native, Material UI, Tailwind, that's the real value stuff. So I'd be putting that first. I'd flip the order around as usual. Come back to your activity. So now I'm down to your experience. So again, I'm looking at when did you start using this? Are you currently using this? Those sorts of things. So I see Nest.js. I see Prisma, GraphQL, Tailwind, great. React. This is looking good. Down here, React. So this was front-end stuff. Oh, you did say front-end engineer, so that's great. Down on the next one, JavaScript, TypeScript, React. So this is all looking great. And now I want to look at what you were doing in each of these and add up all the time and stuff. And the first thing I noticed here is you were doing these 2 jobs at the same time. So 2 full-time jobs at the same time. It can make people nervous. I'm not necessarily against it, but I do think clients will often be against this. Two full-time jobs at the same time is hard to to do. You're in 3 full-time jobs at the same time. So that 3 full-time jobs, I'm assuming 8 hours a day, that means you didn't eat, sleep, or have any time outside of work. It was just work 24 hours a day. It starts to make people nervous. Let's ignore that for now. Let's just move on. If I then look at the bullet points, so develop and maintain full stack web application using modern technologies. Using the technologies is great. You've already put them in the thing below, but the statement is very light. It's like, what did you do during your coding job here? I was coding. It needs to be more like, what did you build? I want to know the depth that you went to and what you learned during that time. Collaborate with cross-functional teams, including designers. And I think everyone puts statements like this. For me, it's just filler. It doesn't give me anything. So as a recruiter, I'm just skipping over it, going, what's next? Implement responsive user interface and interactive features using React. Well, we've established you were using React, so I'm hoping you were building responsive user interfaces. Again, it's light. Design and develop GraphQL. Okay, you've mentioned the GraphQL anyway, so I was assuming you were using it. It's just like saying I'm using this for data retrieval, I'm using this for this. It's like you're telling me what that tool is for rather than what you're doing with it. So I think the bullet points here need to be really more hard-hitting, more direct. What did you build? What did you learn? What were the challenges? How did you overcome them? Those sorts of things. Because you've got, a bunch of experience here. If we overlook the other issue, there's a bunch of experience. We're just not giving people enough. You're not instilling enough confidence in me. Like, what did you actually build? You specifically, rather than what did the team build as a whole. I want to know what your position was within that team, or what did you specifically write. So there's a lot more experiences here. I'm not going to add up times and things like that and how many jobs at once, but I like the fact that you listed the skills, but that there's more that can be done on the bullet point side of things. So let's go back then to is there anything else for me to see? So I'll open up the activity. Let's see what you're talking about every day and see where I can get. I can't get to anywhere else, so there's no supporting evidence for me. There's no way for me to find out more other than what you're talking about now. So we've got to try and recover this. So this post, nice, but doesn't help me as far as being a recruiter. We're all very determined students. This is a nice thing for you doing for somebody sharing there, but doesn't help me in this. You're obviously interested in startups, etc. And this actually does look pretty cool, but it doesn't help you. So the activity isn't helping you. So at this stage, for me as the recruiter, I'm looking at your profile. You do seem to be working in the right skills, in the right technologies that I'm interested in, but your profile has raised a bunch of doubts. Now, what I like to say is this causes gaps. For me to have to ask you the question now, were you working 3 jobs at the same time, or is that, we just haven't updated the dates in some way? And try to clarify more about it. It means I've got to ask you, and recruitment is often very much a speed game. So that the likelihood here is, if I have time, I'll send you an email to say you need to clarify some stuff for me, but I'm already moving on. If I've got enough people in the queue and I'm thinking I might not need your profile, it would raise too many doubts and I would skip it. I'm sorry that, I don't want to be the person who delivers bad news to you, but this is why certain things that we see on profiles raise flags, and often there's a very, perfectly normal reason for this, and it can be explained away, but in the speed game that is recruitment, they might not reach out to you for the explanation. They'll just go, well, I'll move on to the next one. I'll come back if I'm really stuck. So I hope that's been of value. What I would suggest from here is you need to provide more evidence. You need to be documenting your journey and your activity. You need to be linking up to your GitHub, your portfolio website with projects and all those things. you clearly got the skills, you're using all the right things, but you're just not driving it home as usual. This is quite a common theme that's running through these videos. It's like you can see people are great developers, and developers will say to me every day, I'm really good, just give me an interview and you'll see. And I go, I really want to, but I've got a few hundred or 1,000 people who sent me their profile. Why would I choose you? Why would I spend more time if I've got other people who are making it more obvious and more efficient in their delivery about what they do and not raising red flags? So I hope it's been of value. Let me know if you've got any questions. If anyone else would like a profile review, the link's down below. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.